And this session will be delivered by the founder of Stallion Buildtech. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage Mr. Rishab Jain. Welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm Rishab Jain, founder of Stallion. So almost a decade ago, I formed a company, a real estate development company, which the brand name is Living Stones. It was a first generation business for me, so there were a lot of things to learn for myself. However, soon enough, I realized that only timely decisions and actions are the key factors to make any kind of project profitable. Thus, to automate and channelize most of my team and myself, I searched for a lot of softwares in the last few years, which were existing in India. But most of the softwares I came across were never built for construction. They were actually built for different industries, but they were just adapted towards construction. So I was just left with two choices. The first choice was that I go to any existing provider and actually modify what others do. Otherwise, to build a software which actually comes from scratch. I actually ended up building the entire software from scratch. I went ahead and co-founded Stallion with Milind and Yomesh. In the last 3 years, our three core focuses has been in terms to make it as intuitive as possible, to give it the maximum control as possible, and to bridge communication at the highest notch. Once Stallion is plugged in your system, it would automatically connect. Once Stallion is plugged in your system, it would automatically connect all your vendors, all your contractors, your internal team, your accounts department, everyone, and it would get them in sync for the daily progress of the project. This would basically lead to better profitability, scalability, time, and performance of your project. So I will just give a small demo of Stallion in the next 5 to 6 minutes. So Stallion at its foundation consists of 6 major modules as of today. The first module, being the most important, is the RCC structure, management of your construction. Then it is the permissions, management of government compliances, vendor management, the procurement that you do of raw materials, contractor management, the contracts that you award to different contractors, like RCC contractor, tile contractor, window contractor, etc. Then we have sales management, where you manage your entire inventory, your sales, etc. And the last and most importantly, budget management. So I will just come to the app. So this is how the app basically looks like. This is where all your projects would show up. So for example, if you look at Rishab, just show Viva. So often it happens that from the point that when we start a project, we are very passionate about its drawings and everything, but as and when things get technical, they keep on getting changed. And the drawings keep on getting revised, and these sets of drawings always have to be updated to different departments, from your consultants to your site supervisors to your engineers to your contractors. They are never on the same page. And because of that, there is also a possibility at times that something wrong could also get constructed. So in that case, what we have done is that we have basically a centralized cloud storage system for your entire drawings. So as you see, your entire slabs are actually listed here. Now this screen is basically shared on role-based management to your entire team, to your entire consultants, to everyone, whoever you wish to share with. For example, if we click on the second slab, now you can see that there are structural drawings, working drawings, electrical drawings, plumbing drawings. If we click on structural drawings, you would see that version 1, revision 1. So it would also keep a history of all the revisions the particular slab has had. On a click, you can directly open the DWG, or you can open the PDF. You can even share these drawings at a go. Further, if you go in deeper of the second slab, so then you can also see at the bottom that what was the kind of quantity which was estimated to be delivered consumed in this. For example, how much RMC was supposed to be consumed. In this case, it was 100, and the delivered was 71. Whether that was excessive, whether that was less. So this data remains with you forever. And at the end of it, if 6 months down the line, there is some kind of defects in that particular slab, so then you can also go in the history of this particular slab and actually see from whom did you actually order all these kind of materials, and properly investigate the further. Also coming back, the system automatically calculates the average slab speed of it, in which in this case it's 30 days. So with Stallion there is no manual entry. There are a set of people, there are a set of your team who do multiple actions, and those multiple actions would basically lead to data, automatic calculation of data. So all these things are automatic calculations of data. Moving on to our next most sensitive part of the entire project is budgeting. This is a one-time setup which actually works for your entire project life cycle. Now we have more than 600 predefined types of expenses which are already there. So in case you missed out something like in terms to quantify or to budget it, you already have those predefined while budgeting it. We further broke this down in 3 categories. This is quite interesting. So first is raw materials, contracts, and then statutory costs. So raw materials for all the purchases you make, contracts is for all the contracts you award, and statutory cost is your land cost, legal cost, etc. Now, for example, if you go in raw materials, if you would see, there are a list of different items which have been budgeted. So on the right, if we take out here the steel bars, which is right on the top, the estimated quantity for the same is 500 tons, which has been projected for the entire budget, and 4 crore rupees is somewhat the estimated value. It is giving you a real-time data that 148 tons has already been consumed, and so far 1 crore 17 lakh rupees has been paid for the same. When you go further inside, it would actually show you from whom you have actually procured the material, from which vendor, how much material has been procured, how much is the payment due for the same, and all the data possible. So when you go back, you can actually see that at times, and whenever you're actually issuing a PO or work order from this particular system, automatically these things get updated on its own. You don't have to do manual entry every time you're calling for a steel truck. You don't have to do manual entry that you got 30 tons. Automatically, the system keeps getting updated and the budget keeps getting evolved over and over again. So, and at a point, if you haven't actually budgeted something and you have missed out something, so the system automatically shows that in red, and it would say that this has not been in budget, and it will notify you that kindly put this in your budget. Now, stepping back a page, what we have evolved out here is that we have the raw material estimated value, we have the raw material estimated value, we have the contract estimated value, the statutory cost estimated value. We plus all of this, and we actually divide this with your entire construction built-up area, which at the bottom of the screen gives you a live cost per square feet built up. So you practically know at any point of time, and this is a dynamic number, so if you generate a PO today, this number would probably change, which is out of budget. So this number is a dynamic number which would exactly tell you at any point of time that what is the cost per square feet of your project at your end. Moving quickly to the next module is the permissions. Now, in permissions, it often happens that there are a set of, normally when we receive an IOD or prerequisite of an IOD, there are around 60 to 70 to 100 compliances that we have to comply to reach different milestones, like a further CC, OC, and everything. What we have done is that we have basically divided this into 3 categories. Which is for IOD, for CC, for OC. So for example, in this case, there are 81 compliances in all, from which 24 belong to IOD, 45 belong to CC, and 12 belong to OC. So for example, unless you don't comply with the 45 compliances of CC, it's difficult for you to get the CC. So you don't need to keep managing with your architect or anybody else. You have the maximum control with you in terms of how the project needs to be channelized and you should be ready with all the compliances for the next milestone to achieve. Further, you can also open any particular permission, and you don't need to file them and everything. You have the digital copies of all of them, so you can just store them on the iPad, and you can just or on your mobile device and computers, and you can share the same. Also, there are some kind of permissions, which are just yearly permissions, like a sewerage debris permission, or like a bank guarantee or something, or like a Mahada NOC, which keeps on getting expired every year. In that case, what happens is that when we are going and when we are renewing our IOD or CC, we would always tend to realize that, okay, our permission has expired, we have to go and renew that first. And that's a roadblock. What the system actually does is that as soon as a permission expires, it will notify you that this permission is expired, and it keeps you ready that you need to basically renew this permission beforehand itself. Moving to our next module is purchase orders. As we all know, managing purchases from vendors at the best possible rate is the key for cost efficiency for any possible project. The process is very simple. For example, from your site team, there's a requirement of RMC. What he would do is that he would just, on the software, he would just choose the ready-mix concrete. He would choose what type of grade he's looking for. He would see, he would put the requirement for that which slab is it for or which column is it for. He would set the dates, quantity. So like this, there are again predefined list of more than 2,000 construction materials. You can choose any, and their units also would be defined in the same manner. So once your site requisition guy has, this thing has filled up the form, he just previews a PO, and on your customized letter and everything, directly a digital purchase order is already generated. He directly requests a PO, and then there is a 3-tier verification process. So basically, your procurement head, your account management, and your final signing authority. The PO goes through all 3 of them, and finally, it lands on the assigned page, where it lands on the assigned page, where you can directly sign the PO digitally. Just sign it digitally. So with all these things, there is like, you don't need to do any kind of manual entry or like calculate these numbers or anything as such. Once the order is delivered, the entire quantification has happened. And from the quantification, automatically there is a ledger which gets developed. So if you go in the payment due section, you can actually see that from which vendors, how much do you owe and what is the money required to pay. Once you tap on any vendor, exactly their entire ledger is opened. What is their total invoices till now? What is the total paid? What is the balance? And what is the overdue as of now? Going back, at any point of time, even at 2 o'clock in the night, you can exactly see of your project that what is the payment due and what is the payment overdue. Payment overdue is something which the credit period has been passed and you still haven't paid, so that comes in the payment overdue category. Moving quickly to the sales management, which is the last module. With a one-time setup, you can see the entire inventory. With one-time setup, you can see the entire inventory of your building in this. The gray ones are the ones which are like your fitness center, refuge floors, podiums, which are not for sale. The red ones are the ones which are sold, and the green ones are the ones which are available to sell. Right? So you can just click on any one, or you can click, or probably you want to sell a Jodi flat, so you can click on 2 flats, you can do proceed for booking. And then you can also choose whether you want, it's a buyer type for an end buyer or investor. You fill in all the buyer details. If you can also add other charges, so you can see automatically the RERA carpet area of that particular flat has been defined. As soon as I enter the rate per square feet out here, automatically the flat value is generated. You can include parking on whichever podiums you want, even that gets managed, or whichever parking, mechanical parking is there. Then you can add other charges like floor rise, etc., and society maintenance development charges. And automatically a digital allotment letter gets generated. Set payment terms. So automatically a digital allotment letter is generated with the entire payment terms and everything. And if you wish, this could be directly emailed to the client as well. Going back, it gives you some really important stats, which is the total sold area, means that how much square feet have you sold, and what is the average price, what is the average price so far that you have sold out at. what is the payment received so far, what is the payment to receive. When you tap on payment to receive, it would even show you the cash flow that from which buyer you need to receive what kind of payments. At the same time, it would also show you the payment overdues, that on which slabs the buyers have actually missed those payments and not paid you. So you have that kind of data. And plus at the very end, then there is an unsold inventory, which basically shows you that what is the balance inventory left, and you can multiply it with exactly the average price that is, which is the cost to come in. The system is smart enough that it actually tells you something which is the next price to achieve average. So even if you undercut something, so it will automatically tell you to match your average, which is calculated in the system, you actually have to sell it at this price to get your target closer to the next price. So Stallion is all about increasing efficiency and avoiding manual data entries rather keeping your project data valuable with you experience lifelong. And all of you get this at a fraction of the cost what the other softwares right now are giving at this point of time. This was just a quick walkthrough about Stallion. However, there are many features and details apart from what we have just covered. If you are interested, we are currently running a special offer for today. Our onboarding team is present at the venue who can give you a demo as well as get you onboarded. Thank you.
Check. Thank you. Can we request Mr. Sunil Chandra Reddy, our GC member, to join us on stage and present a token of appreciation to Mr. Rishab Jain. Sorry. Please, sir. And so, ladies and gentlemen, now is the time that we have our first panel discussion of the day. Thank you, Mr. Jain.